All right. Thank you, Tina. I'm so proud of how Tina has done in this election against an opponent that, well, I'm not even going to go on. It's too nice of a day. And she's just been incredible and an incredible leader for Minnesota. She serves on the Ag Committee with me, and she's on this really important committee for next year because it's the Health Committee. It's called the Health Committee, which it doesn't do under Republican leadership. But with Tina on there, that is going to be the scene for so much of the work we're going to do to get through this pandemic and out the other side. And I know that she's going to win this thing tomorrow. I was actually asked on Fox News Sunday where I made the closing argument for the Biden campaign. Thank you. And I was asked, they said, oh, what about the race in Minnesota, the Senate race? And Chris Wallace said, what percent you put on Tina Smith winning? And I said, 100%. So that is what I believe. And she's just incredible. My good friend Angie, I guess your federal representation in this district is all women, which is an amazing fact. And Angie, I was so happy when the court ruled that she would be on the ballot and that the election for her seat will be as in tomorrow. And your district deserves to have a fine representative like Angie reelected. So I've really had a lot of fun working with her, and she's just going to do a great job. So, okay. We have, I think Tina and everyone else explained how important it is for the legislature, for the House to remain Democratic, and for the state Senate to go Democratic. And I want to thank Melissa, and I know Ryan. Ryan, where are you, Ryan? There you are, right over here. Thank you for being here. Brad, what an incredible rep you are. I just want you guys to know that I don't know every state rep, because some of them, I did know them when I was first running because I was a county attorney. But Brad, he just has a way of getting to know you, I guess. And so he is like one of the ones that I've gotten to know, and I know what good work he's doing, especially on the economic front for this district. So thank you for doing that. And I also wanted to thank all these incredible candidates, because we need you in there with Andrea and Sarah. Thank you for what you're doing. And then, of course, Ken, such an incredible leader for our party. And to be going around and introducing everyone and never getting anyone's name wrong, I mean, it's an incredible thing. Okay, so this is it. And I was just doing some interviews for the Biden campaign around the country before I got here. And just to give you some sense of what's going on, there is something happening, and it is not just in Minnesota. North Carolina, I found out when I was doing these interviews, North Carolina, that has a Democratic governor, has, as of yesterday, 95% of the entire number of voters have cast their vote that they had in 2016. Without election day, they're already at 95% in North Carolina. Just to give you some sense of what is happening with the key Senate race there and with Joe Biden ahead in the polls. We are ahead right now in the presidential race in states like Georgia, in states like Arizona, in states like where I was yesterday in 30-mile-per-hour wind in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I don't know, this was an idea of the Biden campaign that I went up there and did an event with Tammy Baldwin, and she was wearing Packers gear and I was wearing Vikings gear, and it was really cute until then the Vikings won. And so hopefully it still went all right. But we're just really, really excited about what's going on in the Midwest with Joe is going to go to Ohio in the closing days here, just to give you a sense of how close things are. That wasn't even thought to be one of the states that we could win. And so I've come to believe that come tomorrow night, the Biden-Harris campaign is going to have built a big blue wall around the middle of the country, and we're going to make Donald Trump pay for it. That is our plan. And the way I look at it, with this area having so many in the coalition that we built in this area, so much about, yes, our fired up Democratic base. but also moderate Republicans, independents, that have had it, and they are tired of this chaos. And so as you talk to people tonight and even tomorrow morning, and you're going to check in tonight, right, and make sure everyone you know has voted and has a plan to vote if they haven't yet voted tomorrow morning. But the pitch you can make to them is that we do not need 4 more years, our democracy, of a president that thinks he can bulldoze through it. Our sense of decency cannot take 4 more years of a president that thinks he can just slam it down with every mean tweet every single morning. And the American dream cannot take 4 more years of a president who thinks he knows who can live it. That is what this is about. But more granularly, it is also about who do you want to have manage us through this pandemic. When I was on Fox yesterday, I was listening as Chris Wallace went through the poll numbers, and 60% of the people in this country, compared to 30, believe that the only way, and they're right, we're going to be able to get our economy back expanding again, is by getting through this pandemic. And when you think about it, it's a pretty simple argument. Do you want the guy in charge who wasn't even able to get the protective equipment out to the nurses and the doctors because he wasn't able to use the Defense Production Act as he should have? Do you want to have the same guy decide how we're going to get the vaccines out that flubbed up the testing and has still flubbed it up 8 months into this? The answer is pretty clear. 10 months into it practically, that we don't want to do that we want to have a president that has a plan, that listens to experts instead of condemning them like Donald Trump does with Dr. Fauci nearly every day now. The other piece of this is that Joe, and I love that hat, the Build Back Better hat, Joe has this plan to build back better. And that means, especially for an area like this district, it means infrastructure, roads and bridges, and being smart about broadband. It means building back our child care, which is such a problem in so many areas of Minnesota where it's hard, and Tina has been such a leader. She is leading the bill on child care as we go forward into next year. Doing something on climate change, making sure that we do campaign finance reform, which is if we take over the U.S. Senate, I will be the chair of the Senate Rules Committee, which has jurisdiction over elections and campaign finance. So there are so many things that we have been talking about for so long that we will finally be able to get done. And I think the other argument, in addition, we'll just take that as a compliment. In addition to the competence argument, we have the compassion argument. And for everyone right now, this is personal. So you wonder why Biden is doing well in these southern states and in states that have traditionally been so red, and in areas of our state that have traditionally been more red. It's because this is personal for people. It's personal. Everyone knows someone that got this virus. Everyone knows someone that's gotten sick from this virus. In my case, my husband got really, really sick early on. He ended up in the hospital with pneumonia, and he was on oxygen. And back then, all we needed to do was to clean off our surfaces, which is still important, but we thought that's what would save us. Well, that wasn't true, and the president knew it wasn't true. I found out a few months ago that he had actually told Bob Woodward during that same time that he knew it was airborne, that anyone could get it in the air. That's what happened. And then a few months later, my dad got it at age 92 in his assisted living. 3 of the 16 people in that assisted living died. And to have the President of the United States say that the doctors and nurses are making up the numbers, I don't think so. Not when you have, I know who those people were, and they died. And I remember standing outside of the glass door looking at my dad inside, and we were mic'd in. We had a cell phone, and we were on the speakerphone, and he was talking to us that way, and he couldn't figure out what was going on. He knew who we were, but he did not understand what was happening to him. And he looked so small and so confused. And I literally thought, this is the last time I'm ever going to see him. He made it through, but so many others have not. So this is so personal to the people of this country. So as I look at this election, I think about everything we have been through from the day that Donald Trump got elected. You all remember that night. I remember that night because I got a text from my daughter, and she was at Hillary's party in New York, and I had forgotten it. She was in college, that she was there, and I get this text around midnight, and it says, "Mom, what should we do now?" And I write back this long mom guilt text. It says, you need to go to our friends with your roommate right now. This isn't going well. The subways are still running. And remember, you have class tomorrow. That's what I wrote. And she wrote back, "Mom, I mean our country." And that is what I think about almost every day. What should we do now? Because if we answer it with defeat, which we have not done, if we answer it by putting our heads under the blanket when it's a cold day instead of coming out on the beautiful sunshine like we have right now, then we don't get to the future. We don't get to the day after tomorrow. At Justice Ginsburg's memorial service, the rabbi, and I got to be there in the Capitol, she said that Justice Ginsburg's dissents were not cries of defeat. They were blueprints for the future. That's what this election is for us. It is our blueprint for the future. And for all of you out there that helped elect Brad and are working for these House candidates and got Angie Craig into Congress, you don't take defeat easily. You just keep going. And that is exactly what you have done since Donald Trump won that election. What have you done? You have marched from the day after the inauguration on. You have organized and you have gotten us to this point. And this is it. These last few hours here is where you just be annoying to every single person you know. You call them, you text them, you email them. You don't just say, "Go vote." You actually make sure they did vote. And there is no excuses tomorrow. People can stand in line. The sun will be out. They can bring their headphones. I don't care what they do, but they cannot give up. They have to vote. And then I want you to picture what that's going to be like tomorrow night when you're sitting at home. And you'll remember that back to 2016, what that was like. This is going to be way different because you are going to see that Minnesota come up, and it's not going to be too close to call. It is not. It is going to be Joe Biden wins Minnesota. It is going to be Tina Smith is called. She has won Minnesota. It is going to be Angie Craig wins her congressional district. And someone will say, "Yeah, this was the one that was going to be delayed." And then, no, it's not. And you'll go, "Yeah, that's my congresswoman." And then as those states coming up, and I'm telling you, watch North Carolina, watch Florida, watch what's happening in Wisconsin. And I'm telling you now, Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States. Let's go in and win. Thank you, guys.